Hello everybody. So a new game recently came out called Hyper Universe. As you can see, a lot of the game is kind of like that Marvel Universe feel to it. So basically you can go into a match, you can actually select like against AI, or you can select versus regular people. And as you can see, some of the characters might look a little bit familiar to some other characters in other games. And as you can see, we have some different guys. Like you got McCree, you got Rengar, you got Liana, whatever from Mass Effect. And you basically have a bunch of different characters. Each one's kind of similar to their League of Legends counterpart or such, where they perform different roles. Like he is a striker, so we'll go ahead and try Turner. Certain characters are tanks, and obviously they also have skins that associate with them that you can buy. Similar to pretty much every game out nowadays. These games really want you to actually like purchase their extra content, such as skins and such as I guess skins is the only thing really in League of Legends. I know Dota has like music packs and voice packs that you can also get for your character. So you kind of have your similar layout of like this is your main screen when you are waiting for it to load. A little bit prettier than League of Legends at least. League of Legends I feel like has like kind of that dull look to it. This is kind of a little bit more cinematic. The music's a little bit more action pumping. And overall I feel like it's definitely got a good vibe. The first thing you're going to notice though when you get into a game is the games are 2D. They are not 3D. There is no like there's not really any sort of like moving in and out of the background. You're strictly like on a 2D plane. And each character, like, he's more ranged, so you can kind of do like the different ranged attacks. He's also got a passive. Turner has an even greater chance of unleashing huge amounts of damage upon enemies. It increases like his critical rate, for instance. Bird of Prey, send out a falcon to scout ahead, stays in the area for 9 seconds and grants the following effects when okay. So kind of like a little bit like Ashes. You got bear traps like Caitlyn's, and you basically also have just kind of a passive ability. After level 6, they do unlock their, you know, ultimate, I guess is what you would call it. So the other thing you will notice is there are random enemies on the map. These are kind of your guys that basically you can fight for extra money, that kind of stuff. And I am not used to this guy, so I'm not really too familiar with him. So I might actually die right away. So each time you defeat a big enemy, you basically get some experience points along with it. You can also recall and heal up. Your items up here actually constantly can be upgraded no matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you are like just basically anywhere on the map. And as you can see down in the bottom corner right in here, we actually have the map. Dots on it signify enemies that are like neutral, like these guys. Basically these are kind of like your jungle camps, similar to League or Dota. I don't think my guy is very good at clearing this. I played as the Rengar guy earlier and he was actually very good at clearing. So they all kind of have their like, yeah, they all kind of have their unique strengths and weaknesses and everything. I don't think I should be down here with him, but you get it. So the next thing you're going to notice is, well, let's go ahead and how does this game control? So your abilities are on the Q, W, E, and R for your specials and all that. F lets you dash or do a roll of some sort. D is to jump, S is to do like a regular attack, and then A is another attack that is on a cooldown. So as you can see, like, the enemies are kind of interesting and varied, but it's very much a tower defense. You're defending your tower. You do not want your base to go down, and pretty much that's the entire thing of the game. There's not really a lot more. You're basically just taking towers. And then once you take the final tower, you will actually unlock the... you'll basically win. It's similar, like I said, in that way to League of Legends. And as you make more money, you can actually upgrade your items and everything. The nice thing is that there is a constant teleport. You can teleport anywhere that like you have a defensive structure. The only issue with teleporting is that you lose out on $200 every time you do it. And it seems like the other big difference, unlike League, is you cannot just clear one like tower and get to the base. You have to clear all of them. So unfortunately, the games can draw on a little bit. This is the AI, so it's not exactly going to be the most intelligent. You are treated to a very incredibly long tutorial before you start the game. The tutorial takes about half an hour. It does seem like, though, that the game is a little bit more generous with its giving out of prizes than Dota or than League of Legends. One of the big complaints I've always had about League of Legends is you can play games for hours and you will not get really anything. You kind of are left with nothing, so that's kind of a nice benefit. What is your ability? Let's see. Oh, so if I kill him, I guess I get more money. So every character so far has seemed kind of... they've seemed kind of different. Like, I haven't run across too many that seemed similar. I know, like, you get your range characters, they kind of have the same abilities. Like shooting, staying away. The game is also definitely a hodgepodge of abilities from other characters and other games. Like I said, you will see abilities like Ash's. I believe hers is on her... it might be on her E. You also see like Caitlyn's traps. You also see like Twist of Fate's kind of ability with the bounties. So there's a lot of like that kind of feel to it. The game definitely does a good job of... I mean, it looks pretty. I will give it that. I guess when you're not dealing with a three-dimensional space, you can kind of go a little bit prettier on your graphics. So that's one thing I definitely respect with this game, is it does do the visuals very well. The one thing that does is kind of weird, and I don't know if it's just in the game, is it seems like games can get drawn out. A lot of the characters do not seem like they have long respawn times. It always felt like in League of Legends, you would kind of have that long time of like, if you died way too much, you would end up with a like a 2-minute like timer of like death timer. So I do enjoy the fact that that is... it more or less punishes late game. This doesn't seem like it does. The other thing I do love is this game is compatible with controller. It is compatible with keyboard, mouse, everything. I have not tried it with the controller yet. I've only tried it with the mouse. I mean, with the keyboard and the mouse. The mouse is not used other than, like, you know, hovering over characters, seeing their stats. The one thing that does hurt about this game is there is no quick way at like a glance to see what your basically what your character's stats are at the time. Also, since the game is kind of new, there is that not added disadvantage, but kind of problem of it doesn't seem like the meta's really in place. I know, for instance, some characters like this guy right here is very good. I've seen everybody using him. He's more brand new, which, like any game, he'll have that issue of initial being overpowered. I know League of Legends did that with Zoe. It did that with basically all kinds of characters, that they get overpowered and then they get nerfed into the ground. I do have to admit the game does look it does look good, like I said. You do get that dynamic feeling of taking out enemies. I'm also going to, real quickly, let's see if I can just do it. I'm going to, oh, I don't want him to hit me though. I was kind of hoping I could just get taken, yeah. So, from my experience, it doesn't seem like the death timers are too bad, since you have to like keep kind of running back and forth. They are a little bit longer, I guess, as the game does go on. This has only been going on for 9 minutes. Oh, and upgrading your gear, like I said, is very quick. You just click on whichever like item slot it is based on basically what you have enough money for. So kind of your money is right here. It's constantly going up. You do seem like you get money from other characters doing stuff as well as yourself, which is kind of a nice benefit. But it definitely also seems like it is very team-based. Like, if you are not willing to work with your team to do, like, anything, you're going to, like, fail. Like, it's really hard, especially, like, a lot of characters seem like they just kind of will constantly try to push, and you don't have that luxury of, like, it's very much a team-based game. It's very much like League of Legends. Everyone has some sort of dash to get away, which is kind of a nice and it's kind of nice, but it's also a little bit aggravating when you just can't finish off a character. Another thing I could think of that's similar is very much similar is taking turrets. You want to have minions in front of you. If you basically hit an enemy or do something where there's no minions, be prepared to take on the wrath of the turret. And that's kind of the big points of the game. Unfortunately, everything I said about this character is very non-flashy. You do have a lot of characters that have more flash to them, a little bit more all around just kind of like neatness to them. Some of their actual combos are pretty cool. Some of their ultimates are neater. Like I said, the other thing is the game is very generous. You do the tutorial, you manage to get 30,000 coins, and you unlock a character right off of the bat, which is nice. The initial character, he's alright. Very basic moveset, that kind of stuff. Very friendly for a beginner to use. So I would show him. I'm actually going to get killed. So like I said, a lot of the characters are a little bit flashier. It seems like everyone's kind of... Let's level up some of our items. It doesn't seem like, at least from my understanding, that I haven't had issues with the mana cost on anything, it seems like. So if you do, like, it seems like everything kind of recharges very fast. And since cooldowns seem to be like they're on the higher end with certain items, you don't have that issue of constantly feeling like you need to babysit your like mana. Like, it seems like it's always kind of coming back very quickly. There are also elite monsters as well that you can hunt to get perks and that. The one other neat thing is, and I'm going to see if I can find one real quick. Like, this is a elite monster, for instance. Taking him out basically buffs is a huge buff. There's also smaller guys like these that really don't do much. This is strictly for money. So I'm just going to kill them off real quick. But like this guy right here in the middle, he's a little bit bigger of an enemy. He's a little bit more resilient. So I'm going to see if I can take him out real quick. And basically show you that, yeah, I'll take him out. They drop some health upgrades, and then they drop this. This is where basically you get a random kind of effect. This is where RNG comes into the game. You kind of get like an item. It could be something as simple as a gold pouch. It could also permanently increase your defense. So there's a lot of benefits to hunting. The downside of hunting is you don't have someone to defend. So certain characters, once again, fall into that. Basically, they're either a very good tank, a very good jungler, a healer. So that's kind of an interesting thing. The one other thing I can honestly mention is the game is free to play. There is no upfront cost. Of course, if you're going to buy like skins or such, there is definitely a cost. The cost, I mean, like in games like this, you can unlock every character without paying a dime. Characters do go up pretty high. There's also, unfortunately, in the game, there's everyone's least favorite thing, and that is loot, like loot boxes, which give you random items, give you random everything. We're gonna actually have one after the game, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna show that off after. I guess the one nice thing about this character is he does get a good distance, so you can sit there and kind of poke really well, and he can get killed really easily. So one of the main deterrents that'll turn a lot of people off of this game, I think, is the fact since you're on a 2D plane, it is not hard to hit, if that makes sense. Characters are constantly, basically it's hard to have skill shots because, yep, it's hard to have skill shots because you're on a flat plane. So basically you don't get that, oh, if I miss like a target or anything. It's very much, you kind of have a very easy time hitting anything. You don't have to aim. Basically, as long as they're on the plane as you, the distance is the only thing that really matters in the game. So that does kind of make it difficult. What is my character's strength? See, I thought I would be stronger. But as you can see, certain other characters have more attack. And my items are kind of an odd... Basically, at the beginning of the game, it asks you to pick like it asks you to pick a set, and this was the set I have in place. I believe you can also set those before and after a match. We'll double check that beforehand. So, other odd things about the game. If you try to basically, as you can see on the map, you can sneak around like in front of turrets, behind turrets, that kind of stuff. Enemies, like the little guys that are kind of following me around, these guys, they will not... You can't basically hit them if there's a turret before or after. You kind of have to have that turret be blocked, if that makes sense. So you can't creep steal, like, so there's not going to be any, like, real people, like, playing, like, Singed, who, basically would go behind the enemies, steal all the creeps. That's not really in this game. It's a little bit harder to do. There we go. Alright, so some final opinions on this game is that it is definitely an interesting game. You definitely do get a little bit different if you kind of want to get away from the League of Legends scene. I know some people do have a problem with it. Okay, apparently I'm gonna get killed. It also... So you do get level up rewards. As you can see, you also get like at level 3 I unlock this character for free, level 4 this character, at level 5 this character, and then you kind of get like coupons and such for different characters depending on what level you get. So by the time you hit level 20, you've kind of gotten like a good set of stuff. You've gotten a decent amount of basically coins, that kind of stuff. And there's also, let's see, I'm trying to think if there's also a story mode. I have not played the story mode too much, but you can actually complete some of the story points for it, which is kind of a nice change from League of Legends. But we're going to go ahead, let's just, you know, click on the hypercube. You can get a random hyper sample, collect 10 samples during a hyper, you can get like a skin, you can get like an emblem, or you can get an equipment. That seems like one thing I do not like is that you have to unlock equipment. That definitely seems play to win. But let's go ahead, let's open this. So I got 3 of these, and if I got 20, I could unlock him for free. Let's go one last thing. We can go into the shop. No. So it's kind of nice that there is tutorials for everything. So this does seem kind of annoying. You do have to unlock basically these to like equip your character. So certain characters do kind of have a benefit. I mean, like, look at this. Each character, you'd have to pay the money you unlock from the games, which you unlock here. That is definitely kind of an annoyance. I'm not really too sure how the different weapon sets play out, but that definitely seems like a huge oversight. And that definitely seems like a deterrent, because as new characters are unlocked, like for instance, Captain Red, you basically end up having to buy his equipment, which is another like, let's see, it's like another 18,000. So if you buy him and you buy all of his equipment, you end up with like basically none. There is characters that, like she said, have all different equipment, but that definitely is kind of a crappy way to handle it. Trying to think if there's anything else real quick. Yeah, so if you go into your hyper settings, this is where you can basically set your like other equipment. So for instance, if we, like, for instance, we're just looking at this guy. He's got 2 weapons that I can't even use. These are the other weapons I have. So it kind of turns into that, like, okay, I have to obviously bring this, and I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to bring this. Since you're basically setting all your items right away, there isn't that option of going back and, like, re-changing weapons or anything. You're stuck with this. It's just which ones you level up at which time. And that kind of does suck. You do get the similar thing of like rotations. You get characters that rotate in and out, so you do get to try different characters. But the game is definitely very League of Legends on a 2D plane. Just a little bit more giving at first, but then kind of taking it away with the actual extra stuff you have to pay for. So if you definitely want to try it out, it is free. You can download it on Steam. You just have to create an account with HyperUniverse. It'll ask you when you first log in, and then you will basically be able to play the game for free. It'll give you Alan, that one character we saw, as a freebie. Other characters can be unlocked paying either real money, or you can pay with gold that you unlock through various means. So I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of quick review of hyper universe. If you are enjoying the content on the channel, please leave a like, please leave a comment, and please subscribe. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.